like to say peace to all the gods on earth and people of the universe. Peace to all. Just wanna let you know the black man's first. Original man. We're gonna drop a little something like this, you know what I'm saying, on how we feel on the real. Check it, so. Who tells you when to work? The devil. Who tells you when you get a day off? The devil. Well, who gives you your pay? The damn devil. And who takes it away? The devil. You mean to tell me that we're still not a slave in the land of the free, in the home of the brave? Knowledge cipher divided by power equals wisdom, but you know we have to stop with knowledge first. Divine evils were dispersed and the hearse situation that we in. Some people saying that we're cursed. The lack of the knowledge of ourselves makes it worse. Science that we drop make the average head burst. So do the knowledge on the very next verse. I didn't come to conceal it, I come to reveal it. The true and living God with the Son of Man. And if you ever need assistance, just take my hand. Black man, be prepared, cause here comes the clan. Now my great-great-grand was hung on a tree by the colored man. You probably know him as a white man. I seen an Oprah Winfrey show. She said that was in the past, but kiss my... Yeah. Now it's time to teach the people why our people's not treated equal. Here's the next sequel. Now brothers say, why you just the church like cause if church was good for us, it wouldn't be on every block of our neighborhood. Just like a liquor store, it just ain't no good. They represent the 10%. Now mama lover has no loot, but she spend the last dime to make sure a child has an Easter shoe. What is this with Christmas? I just can't see. Spending your money, giving the credit to a fat man coming down your chimney. Come on. I just can't see it. It's like TV telling lies to your vision. Auntie God is here to make the incision. The soul controller. Yeah, the soul controller. Word is born. The soul controller. The soul controller. Check it. As we come with the 12 Jews, we know and understand the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. It's freedom, justice, equality.
It's always very interesting for me to receive instruction as to what it is that I'm supposed to discuss and deliver at the moment. We're going to talk about a couple things today, but I was asked to just share some information with you. I do want to make one request, though. Can you hear me now? Okay. Is there some way we can support her in hearing me? The lady in the back, she can't. I just ask that while I'm talking that no one please snap a photograph of me. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Yes. Oh, okay, great. I do want to thank Dr. Bodis, and I've always heard such wonderful things about him, and I'm just real blessed to just see such an elegant, human, divine specimen. So thanks again, Dr. Bodis. One of the tasks, a personal task of mine, is to be the best that I can be. So on my quest to learn as much about myself as possible, I found out some very awesome things. There's a tremendous amount of information available to us, and truly, next to the divine life force energy that has been given to you, it is paramount that you invest as much time and finances and whatever else you have in acquiring information. And the reason why is that when you begin to do the research and unleash the information in your mind, especially as melanin-dominant or Africans, you will be awed at recognizing that truly you are God and God essence. And this is extremely most important. As I begin to look at the scientific research and the data that's actually been studied on us, it's amazing what it is that I have found out about myself. Perhaps some of you are not very much aware of my work, but I am an immortalist. I understand that aging is a dis-ease process, so is death. I understand that any decline in prime function is also dis-ease, menopause, climateric, aging. These are dis-ease states, and they are not natural phenomena that the human being has been created to experience. The more melanin an individual has, when you begin to do the research, you recognize that it really is an absurd experience. Because just by the chemistry, the physiology of the body, etc., this is something that, unless under total ignorance and a total resistance to actually accept and maintain what you have, do you actually even undergo those kind of experiences. What is also so awesome is that when we are ready, because we do have these wonderful anatomical and neurological structures, we can begin to regenerate ourselves at any particular time. I talked about this on a radio show not long ago in New York. Yes, you can regenerate your spinal cord, you can regenerate your brain, you can grow new limbs, new organs, whatever it is that you choose to regenerate. However, everything requires, first of all, an acknowledgement that this is possible, and then secondly, to find out what precisely you need to do to actualize the experience. So anytime you begin to collect thoughts in your mind that things are impossible, that experiences are not experiences for you for reasons of primarily inadequacy, then do understand that obviously by universal law, those things cannot be in your realm. When you begin to evaluate your belief systems and the foundation upon which you define yourself, if you are holding on to belief systems that just by the thought of them create discomfort, poverty, what you can't afford, what you can't do, why you have to continue to be on jobs that create discomfort for you every day, understand that by my definition on a scientific basis, that is a sentence to your own hell. These are all experiences only based on your belief system and what it is that you are allowing yourself to entertain. The universe, and especially in this dimension, which is known as a holographic dimension, mercurial very much so, a mirroring dimension, whatever you believe creates your reality. So therefore, when you have belief systems that immediately create discomfort, you have to understand that it's only by your choosing to continue to think that thought that you create your own discomfort. It is only what we call a relative reality. It is not an absolute reality. So when I talk about absolute realities, I'm actually talking about the fact that there are laws that permeate all dimensions, or as it is quoted in the Bible, rulership over all mansions in my mother, father's house. Those are absolute laws. And any dimension you're able to move yourself into, you will find that it is requested that you have to obey those. But on a relative sense, relative reality has really been cloaked and has been perpetrated by social, cultural norms, okay, which are chemical realities that are actually written upon your genetic structure. Now, this becomes very awesome because as you begin to look at your gene pool, and this is why you have to begin to start studying yourself, many of the values, many of the belief systems that we have are obviously 300,000 years old. It has been discovered that Lucy's genes are actually 500,000 years old. Some interesting things will come out about her because it'll be also revealed later on that she really didn't even originate from this planet. Okay, this begins to be how awesome that is. But definitely in the Aborigines, when they look at their genetic count, which is actually 42 plus 2 chromosomes, okay, because you have to understand that we all don't have the same chromosome makeup. There's 42 plus 2, 44 plus 4, and 46 plus 2. So depending upon the chromosome number that you have, and also the number of chromosomes that you are actually able to activate, depends and will determine your reality and the capacity that you have to master this dimension, okay? This is why if you begin to really do the study, there's really 7 races on this planet that are divided based on their chromosome number. The Aborigines are really the original chromosomes that at least Caucasians have identified, which have the 42 plus 2 makeup. And they do contain at least 300,000 years of information in their chromosomes. Unfortunately, they have been one of the groups of people that have been researched on most intensely for that reason. So when you think of Jurassic Park, you can also think of the Aborigines. Okay? And it's been an awesome thing that they have actually gone through for the Europeans to actually unlock as much as they have about DNA and the genetic code. We have 12 sets of double helixes, not 2. Most people, however, don't even activate 1/4 of the one single double helix, which is why they actually are experiencing the kind of life that they have. Limitation, lack of any type, discomfort is not your destiny. And do not ever allow a person to indoctrinate that with you. If you are experiencing it, it is because you have a relative reality that is not in alignment with absolute truth. This is one of the things that I stress, because truly we are all potential gods and goddesses. That is only a state of existence that you personally have to earn, but the potential was already given to you. And not until you are ready to do the personal work and begin to understand who you are, can you begin to activate the 7 levels of brain function. Let me tell you about this a little bit. There's 7 levels of brain function. Most people are what we call trapped in either first, second, or third circuit. They never move beyond the third circuit. And it's very interesting because the social structure in the Western world, if you do not pay attention and know who you are, will lock you into it. Okay, the African race is actually the foundation for the economic system in America. So you have to understand how awesome that is. So every time you drive downtown and you see these big buildings, etc., they are built on your back. How can somebody tell you that you don't have money to do it whether you want to when you're actually the foundation for which these buildings stand? So do not accept this, but what we have not mastered is accountability and appreciation for what we have. Because one absolute universal law is that whatever you focus on expands, and whatever you appreciate will be multiplied and given double unto you. So it is a travesty when we begin to go up and down the streets and see that we do not respect and honor what we have. Because when you do that, it automatically must double. That is a universal absolute law. So there are many things that are happening with us that truly are of our own creation. And I think it's very important that we begin to pull in our energies, tunnel in, and really begin to examine how much discomfort, lack, and limitation is really of our own creation, not of anybody else's. It's very important that you give all power to yourself and stop disseminating it to any particular race of person, to any particular institution, to any type of political science or lack of an educational. None of that has anything to do with whether you're going to actualize your God or God essence. I brought some things here, and there's one book that I obviously left at home, but it's no problem. We have a 3-volume set here. Well, first of all, let me just go back to just get you hooked up. 7 circuits. First circuit is brain stem. It is equivalent to the reptilian brain. Now, one of the things that is known by zoologists and basic biologists is that when an ovum is fertilized, okay, on this planet, everything starts out the same. Okay, it gets heavy because all of, quote, the alchemical sciences now are brought into this, because there are numbers that we are honoring that really don't exist. Okay. There are states of existence that we get locked into that really are only to be transitory. So we have to begin to start paying very, very close attention. But the point being is that, first of all, brainstem activity is the same as reptilian brain. Okay? Now, if you pay any attention to the animals, and they're wonderful teachers because the animals are here on this planet to teach us the solution to any problem we might have. This is why the Native American Indians were so awesome and had the answers to solutions. And it's very interesting as to their unwillingness to accept what was before their very eyes that actually caused their own extinction. You have to understand that the belief systems and the perceptions that the Native American Indians decided to fall into predestined them to extinction. It was just karmic that it happened to come through the Caucasians. Okay, and this is very interesting because when we begin to look at the destiny and the future of the African, we have also set ourselves up in the same position. So when we begin to see a fertilized egg multiply, as it first develops, and if you put all these different levels of animals, zoologically together as far as their ovum development. You cannot tell the same at a particular stage until that ovum develops beyond that point, or either it will actually develop into that particular animal. So you have to understand how awesome that is, because that means in here, you know and have the capacity to actualize any particular activity that any animal on this planet can execute. You've got to understand that, and you have to understand then where those cells, that information is logged into your brain. Because when you understand where it is in your brain, once you're able to actualize a thought, you can activate that part of the brain to allow you to experience and execute that particular activity. So obviously Magic Johnson and all these other people that have these great feats, they can leap around like, what are those called, praying mantis and etc. That's all part of actually the structure that's prevalent and present in their brain. This is no just, haphazard thing that they have. This is quite physiologically present. But there's something known that's very interesting that's known as conscious and unconscious, mastery or competence. Okay, we can be unconsciously competent, and it is our responsibility to be consciously competent. Okay, because unconscious competency comes from the right brain. Okay, however, when you are asked to elucidate that step by step at the same degree and the same state of accuracy, unless you can identify each stage and then impart that to your left brain, your degree of competency will vary. Now, so you have to understand what I'm really describing, because what I'm really describing to you is a feat of left and right brain hemisphere integration that is common in the Orientals. That's their capacity. They have the capacity, once they are exposed to something intuitively, to be able to understand precisely, left brain-wise, how that was created and reproduce innumerable reproductions that only they can really tell you what the original is. And that comes from integration of the left and right hemispheres through the corpus callosum development and a few other neurologic areas that have become developed because of their cultural lifestyle. So brainstem is reptilian. So whatever a reptile can do, you can do. Now see, that's awesome when you recognize that that's not even in your head yet. We're talking about brainstem. We haven't even got into the brain yet. Okay. Now it's very interesting when you begin to also notice the reptiles, because the reptiles primarily stay by themselves. You do not see reptiles together except for two reasons: for defense and mating. Okay, so we understand then what the behavior, the personality of a reptilian personality is going to be. Okay, and that's awesome. What does the state of consciousness of the reptile deal with? What is safe and what is not? Those are the two main perceptions that determine their entire life. Now see, that's awesome. Okay, because that lets me know that when I go to visit somebody's house, and it has more locks and grids and things on it, okay, than Fort Knox, I automatically understand what level of brain function they're primarily actualized in and where they are stuck in what circuit. Okay, this is awesome. And what's so interesting is that they have also identified substances, chemicals, that will actually keep you in these particular states. Okay? Now, second circuit is the insect. Brain capacity of the insect is second circuit, and that is the medulla. Okay, right in the entrance of the magnum. Insects come together and work as a group because they understand that by group effort, they are able to actualize a quality of life that is more comfortable than if they did it themselves. Okay? However, it's very clear that that insects have no emotional bond to one another. That is to say that once the agreement is made for whatever the act is going to be done, if you abort the activity before the act is done, you are killed. And you can buy an ant farm and observe that. Okay, when it's understood that there's food to be brought in, to the nest, and an ant goes out, and there's still food left, and this ant has no food, they kill him. His head is taken off. Okay? So it's understood that it becomes very interesting that second circuit function is that we have individuals who interact with other people for the benefit of a increased quality lifestyle, and also to give themselves meaning. Now see, this is very interesting, because you get hooked into second circuit. That means that your sense of self, your personal desires, the things that you might want to do for yourself will all become subordinate to whatever the group says. And I see that so many times with people dealing with the church. They're so busy in the church, their home falls down on the ground. Okay, they're so busy on their job, their home falls down on the ground, along with their health. Whatever it is that you are deciding that defines who you are to be able to what you think have a higher quality lifestyle is stuck in second circuit. Okay? Now, it's very interesting, because this is where alcohol works. Okay? And alcohol basically, well, let me take that back. Alcohol is more so first circuit. Okay? We have drugs like heroin, etc., that work on second circuit. Okay? Third circuit deals with the intellect. These are individuals that if you can't read it, if it hasn't been researched, or there's some type of documentation from someone else who said it, then you don't believe it. Okay? This is the intellect, and this is the avian. This is bird brain mentality. Okay? Now, you know, that is a very controlling mechanism, okay? And this is where cocaine comes in, okay? Because these are the individuals that get super ego tripped, and once they think they know something, you know, they can do whatever they want to, etc., and do this over and over again, okay? But this deals with the intellect. If I can't read it, if it can't be proven to me, etc., based on whatever I think proof is, that it doesn't exist. Third circuit. And many of us are caught into that. That's why we feel, for example, that we don't amount to much if we don't have whatever society says is important for you to be an educated person. Now, we know with the number of universities on this planet, and with the problems on this planet, that obviously having a degree means nothing. And it's amazing to me to see the number of Africans who still continue to barge their way into these institutions looking for answers when it's demonstrated every minute on CNN that they don't have them. Okay, this is very, very awesome. So when we understand that there is information there, but you have to understand that there's a state of consciousness that one has to go to get the information, okay, and be able to come out with it with very little mental distortion, because there's a big aspect of education that definitely deals with the implantation of social morals and norms for larger economic and political use at a later date. Now, what begins to get so interesting is that when we begin to move, and so I just want to say that third circuit is cerebellum. Fourth circuit, now we finally move into the occipital aspect of the brain. Finally have gotten in up here. That is fourth circuit, and fourth circuit deals with the emotions. This is the capacity to truly know kinesthetically what's happening anywhere in the world. Now, I think that the Western world is very, very interesting, because fourth circuit is something that is condemned, literally, in this society for you to function on. Okay, I mean, Tina Turner talks about what does love have to do with it? So she immediately tells you that your decision should be made from third circuit, not fourth. Okay, because you have to understand that fourth circuit deals directly with heart and knowingness and the center where the divine intelligence really resides. The Native American Indians can tell you that decisions should be made from the heart. After the brain gives you the